sometimes there were good days and bad days, but generally it was a real nice country atmosphere there. There was always a waiting time there because the engineman attended to the locomotive and fill the tender up with water. And I did notice there that it was one of the few remaining places that still had carbide lights in the station because electricity hadn't reached that outpost. And there were all these trains were running with grain from the downs, and it was good to see them coming down the range there and right into Grandchester, and then they would stop there to have a meal, the enginemen would. And that was part of the station work too, to have the water boiling for the guard. And some of these guys would come tramping in and they say, "Is this water all right, tank water?" "Oh no, she's all right, mate, we got the frogs out over the weekend." It was surprising.
Steam was a pretty hard job. Yeah. It was constant. You know, some days it was good, some days it was bad. It all depends on, like a car. If you've got a good engine, it was a good job. If you've got a bad engine, it was a bad job because you'll be shoveling all the time. We used to run from Grandchester up the mountain over to Laidley. And I used to look out across there when I was working, and I used to see a lot of little places where there were nice creeks and eddies and trees and all that, and I used to think, I'd like to have a weekender up in there. When the train's coming in going to Toowoomba, and they'd have to go up that hill, and they used to put an engine on the back of it, and a little engine on the back of it, and we'd be on the little engine driving fine on the back engine, and we'd push it up, and you'd come to the first tunnel, and when you got there, of course, the front engine would be bellowing out a lot of smoke, and it used to fill the tunnel with smoke. And you'd be on the back engine. By the time you got in there, it was just, you couldn't see. And we used to have sweat rags, and we used to wet them and hold them over your nose.
Franklin Vale Station was taken up by our family in 1849. Our connection with the railways was enormous because that was the only way to get to Sydney. Letters were written, and it was all so many letters, and what we can't get over was the quick turnover of mail from Franklin Vale to Sydney, which was a matter of 2 days. That I remember in Toowoomba, you'd catch a train back on your Christmas holidays. Had to get off the train at a little place called Hillerden, and there's a little rail motor waiting there, and it'd stop at Grandchester and Rosewood. When the steam train came down from Toowoomba, my elder brother and I, we tried to get out of the train at Hillerden to get into the rail motor, and the conductor must have locked the door, and we couldn't get out. We didn't know what we were doing. We knew our family would be waiting at Grandchester in the buggy to pick us up. And as we came through Laidley and out of all the tunnels and the train started approaching the Grandchester railway station, we thought we could do nothing except pull the emergency cord. And underneath the cord it's got penalty for using this £10 or £50 or whatever it was a lot of money. So Tom and I and a couple of school friends, we each got close to these, and as we saw we come to Grandchester, we pushed this. Well, the train driver nearly had a fit. Of course, he thought he'd run over a person, a motor car, a cow, or anything.
My father being a driver here, and me being a lover of the railway, that's how I come. And that's how we come to Grandchester in 1936. In them days, I could ride in the loco with my dad, and there was none of this jazz. You got to have a yellow shirt on. Oh well, Grandchester, when we come here, you'd say was a railway town, and everyone worked together. Oh no, it was good. If I just says to my dad before he died, "Dad, someday they won't have station masters here. and they'll be changing the points from Brisbane. That's changing.
Yeah.
He just says, "You're mad." My life ambition was I wouldn't fulfil it as getting onto the railway. I was too old when I come out the army. So I decided to build in steam. So that's how the Grandchester sawmill started.
I've always had an interest in Cobb & Co, yeah, but I never really delved into it as much as I have since I've come here, yeah, with the history of what it had to do with the town and the railway and that sort of thing. Cobb & Co started doing trips between Melbourne and the goldfields around Bendigo and Ballarat. They never ventured north to Queensland until 1866, which was just after the railway had opened here. When they first started off here, there used to be 3 inns in Grandchester at one stage. As the railway line slowly crept out, it slowly took over those Cobb & Co trails. Cobb & Co ran from 1854, when it first started off, and it ran right up till 1924.